always wanted to stand in front of a picture of Maggie Thatcher. Good evening. I'm really excited to be here because normally we come and talk about carbon, and I think this is a really interesting move for the Green Monday series. I actually went and looked up the phrase collaborative capitalism because I thought it was such a mouthful, and I was wondering whether we were talking about something genuinely new. And what Wikipedia said was that it is effectively that businesses who will act in their own best interests if they work collaboratively with customers, suppliers, and partners. So actually my contention tonight is that collaborative capitalism is nothing new, that in fact at Tesco we have been exercising collaborative capitalism for the past 10 or so years, and that it is by no means anathema to PLC's working. By that I don't mean that collaboration is always the right thing to do. Actually, sometimes competition is the much better choice. But there are certain things, especially those long-term issues that actually concern us all, where collaboration is the much more interesting way forward. And what I want you to bear in mind, so I've only got photos, but the 3 points I want to make are that the way in which we at Tesco look at what tonight we call collaborative capitalism is, 1, understand where your customer is. 2, maintain your commitments and show leadership. And 3, and that's the new one, is to create new ways of working in how you work with customers, with suppliers, and with partners. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So just in terms of where we are right now, understanding our customer. This photo is quite famous. It was taken in Teesside. It was actually taken in 1987. It's called A Walk in the Wilderness. Now, the recession in the 80s was actually over by 82. And the reason why I've put it up is because it feels a little bit like that, doesn't it? At least where our customers are, it doesn't seem to stop. So we thought 3 or 4 years ago this was where it was really tough, but it continues to linger, and our customers are continuing to feel very downhearted as they wander through the wilderness of the Northeast. If you couple that, and we didn't actually share our slides before, so I think this is quite funny. So if you couple that with a lot of the social movements, this is obviously just down the road rather than in Middle East. If you couple that with some of the current social movements, I think you get a very genuine sense that people feel disenfranchised, they feel disappointed, and most importantly, they feel distrustful. They feel distrustful of government, of the media, and of corporates, and actually of corporates less so than of the others. You won't be surprised that at Tesco we always monitor very carefully where our customers are at any point. And the reason why I wanted to show you this is this is something we ask our customers every 6 months. And we ask whether they think the most important issue facing us today is the economy or the environment. And you'll see that kind of tiny bit of time there between January and July 2007, where concern for the environment actually outperformed concern for the economy. And you can see what's happened since. And so in the introductory literature that you were given, it said, why has Tesco gone from doing corporate responsibility mainly around the environment to focusing back on the communities? We haven't, but the way in which we communicate what we do and the way in which we encourage our customers has to reflect where they are at the moment. So that's number 1, understand and respect where your customer is. Number 2 is to maintain your commitments. We firmly believe that strong leadership is around maintaining the commitments you've made. And even though the slide I just showed you shows that that's not where our customers are, we made some very strong commitments around climate change and carbon in 2007, about halving our footprint and eventually coming a zero carbon business, i.e. without offsetting, by 2050. And this just shows you what we've achieved in the last 5 years in terms of our absolute CO2 footprint. So you have to stay with that. What you can do is retell the narrative about some of the things you are doing because they feel closer to the customer. So this is a photo taken 4 weeks ago. This is Richard Brasher and our Prime Minister, of course, talking about the fact that we were creating 10,000 new jobs over the next 2 years. That isn't particularly different to the number of jobs we have created in the past, but it clearly resonates at the moment. So while we maintain our commitment to job creation, this has much more leverage with the press at the moment than our carbon work would do. And then thirdly and finally, you have to find new ways of working with your customers, with your suppliers, and with partners. What this slide shows, and I apologize, it's really teeny, but this shows what our customers have raised for our charity of the year, year on year, since 2003. And you'll see that in 2003, we're working with Barnardo's. Our customers raised and our staff £2.5 million. Last year, we raised almost £8 million for the Alzheimer's Society, and this year we aim to raise £10 million for Cancer Research UK. The reason why I'm putting that up is because in spite of being really in tough circumstances, in spite of the environment feeling very tricky, people still care. Our customers still care. And as long as we continue to engage them on the issues that they care about, we can actually create that upwards curve. And one of the key things that we know we have to do is be incredibly local. So a lot of our work for these charities is very local, because when things are tough, what matters is me, myself, and my immediate environment. We also have to work differently with suppliers. And I have talked to you before, and I won't today because it won't fit in 7 minutes, about our climate change strategy, and I could talk about it a lot. But the key point here is that if we are really going to make an effect on climate change, if we're really going to reduce carbon in a meaningful way, we have to do that not just for our own operations, we have to do that in our supply chain. And that is not something we can do on our own, and that is also not something we can do by just telling our suppliers what to do. So the Consumer Good Forum is a really excellent example of a number of very big businesses coming together, setting themselves some incredibly ambitious targets around zero net deforestation, around water, around refrigeration, and actually together working to achieve those targets in a very cooperative way. My final example is the last initiative we just launched, and this is about finding new ways of actually working with partners. So again, 4 or 5 weeks ago, we launched Together for Trees. It's a new initiative which we are doing with the RSPB, and we felt that if the UK's biggest membership organisation got together with the biggest retailer, and we encouraged our customers to do something that is very meaningful and very clearly contributes to an environmental agenda, that we could, even though the times are changing, we could very much still do that. And I'm happy to talk you through the mechanism. It's a lovely program. Go and have a look at it online and help us, because we're trying to raise £1 million so that we can save a rainforest together. I think that's what I've got for 7 minutes, but I would be very glad to take questions later. Thank you.